Still using GarageBand because I can't afford anything else right now. And I have Ableton, but I haven't actually sat down to learn it. I feel like I get frustrated and then I just pick up my guitar and I'm like, well, I'm just gonna play music for a while now instead of being frustrated. I got my little interface here, one for my vocals and one for my guitar. And then just kind of roll with these guys. I started playing music under the name Ivamae about 2.5 years ago, and music was always a back burner thing for me. I grew up singing, my mom played guitar and sang, and I liked to just noodle on the guitar. I didn't really know anything. I was dating this guy pretty seriously for like 2.5 years, and we had this really rough breakup. I don't know, it made me like question everything I was doing with my life, and I'd always farmed and cooked, and then this breakup sort of just turned everything around, and I figured, fuck it, I might as well like try to be a musician, because I'd rather do that than wake up regretting it at 45 that I never tried something that like brought me a lot of joy. Yeah, this project I guess started about 2.5 years ago. I got a gig at the lamp shop one night on a Friday, and I invited all my friends and packed the place. I thought we absolutely bombed. It was the worst show ever. I was so mortified, I was so embarrassed. And then Lee at the Radio Bean comes up and he was like, that was so refreshing, that was so amazing, like, and then he was like, do you want a residency in April? That in the beginning was really, really important for me to push through this whole chunk of shows where I felt like I absolutely sucked and that I was horrible, was because I just wasn't comfortable on stage. This is like from the past maybe 2 years. I always keep a notebook with me since I could remember. When I'm younger, I've always written and had something to write down my weird thoughts. That's where I'll do a lot of my sort of initial sort of scratching and writing things down. Is I'll write down little, you know, poems, hard chords, progressions that I think of, processing. It's sort of a mix of a journal and lyrics and lots of different things. It either takes me forever to write a song or I puke it out in like 2 seconds. That's the cool thing about it. Sometimes I'm just like sitting there and literally what needs to come out comes out. Oh yeah, the other thing, which is right here, is this typewriter. I keep going, and it's just like something about this like loud tapping is almost like fueling me when I really need to just like puke out stuff that I like can't feel, I don't want to think about, and I can't write as fast as I can type. So this is really good for that because I can just like write things and you can't delete them. That's the other important thing. Deleting is a bad thing when you're processing because something you might think is horrible in the moment sits for a day and you're like, oh yeah, that was actually pretty good. I got really into making mixtapes right now. So I've just been buying, you know, these shitty tapes. I'm not drinking, don't worry. Like 3 Great Tenors and Mozart, which are like chump change at thrift stores. And then you just tape over these ends, which prevent you from writing over it. But you tape over that, and then you can write over whatever tape is on there.
Some people didn't go to church, but just like the hermit told me,
You hear the voice? It's like,
you're gonna find it in your heart.
it's just very aged. I don't know, I can't describe why I love cemeteries, I guess. They're like, I guess because they're peaceful. There's all these people, but they aren't saying a goddamn thing. They're just quiet here to keep you company. I like being alone amongst people. Maybe that's why I like it so much. Like going to write in a bar by yourself where you can like just be in your own zone, but you don't feel lonely in a way. I don't know. But you have these plots that sort of surround this fountain. I don't know, it's so old that the hills are just kind of like rolling. It almost just looks like softness. But there's this quote here that says, outside we may look different, deep inside we are all the same. May God bless us all. Come on. Big thing for me that I feel like I really want to share with people is that vulnerability is a huge theme in my music and a huge something that I believe is extremely important for people personally. I think we're not vulnerable enough with each other, and therefore we can't understand each other, and therefore we, you know, on a bigger scale, we have the problems that we do in the world and in our country, in our communities, everywhere, is we're just so afraid to show who we really are, and on top of that, we're afraid of each other. So I guess that's the other theme, which is fear. The fear of being good enough, which I carry all the time. The fear of others, the fear of not knowing. That is like the intimidating thing I've noticed, like playing more and thinking about like, where am I going? What am I doing? I don't know. I think I like not knowing. If you knew, what's the fucking point? I guess. You know, I don't know. Does that make sense?
Shakes the bones like a waterbed, and my heart can't seem to find solid ground. And underneath it all, lies some answer.